Before we get started today, my daughter was like, Daddy, I did makeup on my doll. I wanted to show your people that watch you. And I was like, that's sweet. You know, you're such a... I love you. And then she gave me this. Now let's look at this objectively, okay? Let's just be like, we'll review the makeup tutorial. We've got some beautiful purple nail polish on there. It's nice. We got the pink hair, the SJW hair. It's really nice. It looks really good. All in all, I'll give this about 8 Jeffrey stars out of 10. Good work, Everly. Very nice. That's the creepiest doll I've ever seen. And she showed me and I was like, she gave it to me. I'm like, oh, it's really good. It's really good. It's going to be in my nightmares forever. Thank you for that. Let's get to the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh, and it's been a hot minute since we talked. It's been one of those busy weeks. You know, as you all know, I have a job. YouTube is not my career, but I'm very much enjoying this. And today it's just gonna be a mashup of a bunch of different things. What's coming up, what I've got planned, kind of digging in for your ideas, what you guys want me to talk about. Things like we've got a Discord server going, and I've got some people over there helping me right now trying to figure out how we can do Discord. It's really not the easiest thing in the world, but man, I'm excited about it. And here's why. Because we get to play Cards Against Humanity together. Wouldn't that be cool if a bunch of us just got in a room and played all these games like Monopoly? By the way, I'm almost undefeated in Monopoly. Like, I'm the best Monopoly player on earth. Come at me. Like, come at me. And so I would love to sit down and just play games and chat with you guys, because you can have like voice chats and stuff in there. And so if you want to become a part of a tiered service like a Discord where you can come hang out with Jeff and I, or just me or whoever, you have to head over to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/thedadchallenge, and you can check it out there, and you can get on to that level, and you can do cool things. If you're a certain level in the Patreon, you can do like one-on-ones with me if that's something you want to do. Like, it's not like just fans or only fans. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to show you my chest hair. You know, you can chat, shoot the breeze. If you have questions about whatever, faith, being a dad, parenting, whatever things I can impart, I can give to you. I would love to do that. So head over to patreon.com/thedadchallenge. You can get right on there, and you can, there's different tiers. $5 gets you into the major one where you can play games together, and there's other tiers and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to do good things with that Patreon. I think we can do some cool stuff. We can help some people with it. So that being said, guys, disaster detailing it's coming up. We got a new one that just released. It's in the link below. You got to go check it out. Jeff and I do things like this.
Welcome to disaster detailing.
Junior.
Junior.
Come back. What's your name?
Jackson.
All right, Fives?
Yeah, all right, buddy. Welcome to Disaster Detailing, episode 4. There's a stray dog. Today we've got one of the most disgusting details you've ever seen in your life. I've never seen anything so gross.
This kid Jackson, party animal.
Like, non-stop party all the time.
He's Josh, I'm Jeff. High five.
Let's do it. No, vacuum it, dude.
These are good. So I got one question for you. Do you want to keep the Jeep or rehome it?
Keep it.
Keep it! High five!
Yeah.
Woo! Keep it.
Show me some.
Show me.
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 Hey, show me some.
Show me.
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 Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
hey. Diamonds in my grill, you see me shining.
See me shining.
24s on that Cayenne when we ride.
When we
Hey,
ride.
now show me some.
Show me.
Show me some.
Show me.
Hey, show me some.
Show me.
Hey, show me some.
Show me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just know I've been poppin' since Dr. J's a chronic. Love all my hoes exotic. The back shots and she ride it. Hey, I go for that gusto. Losing ain't an option. Check a bag and make deposits and deposits and deposits. Hey, you see me shining. Just know I've been grinding. J's is too exclusive. One-on-one, you'll never find it. I love this LA weather. Car start up with buttons. You think you cannot flex me? You gon' have to. Hey, hey, show me some.
And we do things like this.
No fake?
And so that's what we do in disaster detailing. We take a vehicle and we're just learning as we go kind of too, and it's kind of really cool. Like Jeff and I are having a great time telling and those jokes generally, they're not all written, and the dance moves are like we count it down, we do a dance move, but those jokes are kind of just happening as we go. And those pictures that you see in the Jeep, those we did not know they were going to be there. That was Jeff's buddy, who's also a firefighter, and I guess they prank each other, and that was pretty fun. And so we get to do that. We're learning how to detail. We're actually enjoying ourselves quite a bit, and I would love for you guys to head over to that channel and just watch that. Yes, it started out as a spite channel, and we're always going to throw shade at Stauffer Garage. We're going to throw the shade. Like, it's just like, get the shade in a ball. We're going to be like, and we're going to throw the shade. Always. But, that being said, we actually took a really big liking to detailing. I even reached out to Detail Geek, who's a super, like, guys, Detail Geek is from Saskatchewan. So what you have to know is they call hoodies, or hooded sweatshirts, they call them bunny hugs. And that's cool in itself. But anybody from Saskatchewan is generally the salt of the earth. I'm not saying everybody there is nice, but there's only 6 people that live there anyway. So he is a super cool dude. I reached out, I said, you want to do a parody, or you want to do a team up with us? And he said, look guys, love what you're doing, love the social justice and love the podcast, but I just don't do collaborations. And it's like, even just getting back to me, what a super cool dude. So Detail Geek is one of those guys that does detailing, and he's very good at it. And I'm going to just shout him out all day long because not only is he Canadian, he's super cool, and, you know, he's kind of chill. But someday, when we get big enough, I think I can convince Detail Geek to come and at least do a song with us. We don't have to detail a vehicle, but he's a musician. We're musicians. Let's do a song, right? So reach out to Detail Geek and say, please do a song with the Dad Challenge podcast. Not a detailing thing. But Detail Geek, go to him. Do not go to the other SG, because SG sucks. And he copied him. And if you look at, it's funny, if someone had told him on his channel, hey, why don't you do a collaboration with Detail Geek? James like, apparently it's too cool for me. No, James. Apparently he hates it when people rip off every little detail of his channel, every single font, every keyword and phrase and color scheme and everything. He hates that. That's straight up just theft. And we know that you stopped at nothing to get famous. Stopped at nothing. And you literally you can't even tell the difference between your channels. It's a good thing he's way better than you and way more chill. But he didn't throw shade at you. He just doesn't, and apparently because he doesn't want to team up with you, you think he's a jerk? You're the jerk, James Stauffer. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, D-bag. And so everybody go to Detail Geek's channel and subscribe. Throw him some comments, say Dad Challenge loves you. Come do a song with him. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. We are open to having him on here. We love Detail Geek, and that's kind of like, our detail channel is very different because we do like comedy, I guess, and we detail. So we're trying to not do exactly what Detail Geek does. Of course, we're taking a page from his book because he's really good at what he does, especially the way he cleans, and we're learning a lot and we're having a lot of fun. So please head over to the channel. Watch it. We're not monetized yet. We're about halfway there, and we're so excited to get monetized because we spent a lot of money out of pocket on this products that we have. We're just happy to do it. We're happy to have some fun, and you guys seem to be enjoying yourself. So thank you for watching if you have. Thank you for watching on repeat if you have. We really appreciate that. You guys are just like, I can't believe how cool you all are. Like, can this video be about that? How effing cool all of you are? Like, I get on these live chats on like firesides. I wasn't feeling it last night. Sorry about that. But I get on these firesides, and people just chill. There's no expectation to do things. I play guitar for you. We chat. We tell jokes. We ask questions. It's a really good time. And I just want to take this moment, like early in this whole YouTube thing, to really just shout out all of you that support me, support Jeff, support Disaster Detailing, support the Dad Challenge podcast, support the ExPastor stuff, and who just really show love. And I actually also want to thank those who don't, who still engage with hard questions, who may throw some shade at me. That's fine. I want to thank you guys too, because I don't think that I know all and I'm the end all and everything. But just engaging this is in the conversations that we have are really important. And I'm learning as I go. And I just want to also shout out all of like my moderators, Bobby, Night Runner, Brandy, and there's like, I'm probably missing a bunch, but you guys are amazing. So many people have stepped up to help us as it is, and we're nobody. We are YouTube nobodies. And so this has been such a great journey. So that's all out of the way. Today I wanted to kind of just dive into something a little bit. It's not hate related, but today is more of an ExPastor story about something that I really missed. So it's kind of like part 5 of my ExPastor story, and part of one of the things that makes a pastor's job super hard are people. And you're like, what? If you think about it, a pastor's job is to be a person that pastors people, right? Leads the flock, or protects the flock, or the shepherd to the sheep, and all that stuff, and whatever, right? It's kind of like the cheesy version of you are a leader and people are following you because you're teaching them or you're singing or whatever else. You're a pastor of some kind of thing. So not only is that like physically, mentally, situationally, spiritually draining, because you're always just outputting. And then the church is using you as a resource to be tapped instead of filled. And when you're depleted, they just throw you away like they did with me, right? And so I got this comment from a person who went to my church, apparently. A person I have never met before. I had to literally Facebook her and be like, I've never seen this person before. And she threw some comments up. And so I want to run through that really quick. And then I want to talk about toxic congregants. And if you're a toxic congregant, you're not going to like what I have to say. So let's get into what she said first, and then we'll go from there. So she said, I'll just go piece by piece. She said, you're calling yourself an ex-pastor. I'm not sure if you're still aligning yourself as a Christian, but if you are certainly damaging your testimony and jeopardizing the potential job prospects anywhere. Who would hire someone who does this, right? Who would hire someone who got hurt by the church and like talks about it? Who would hire me? And that's kind of the problem, right? That's kind of the problem. First of all, I don't want to be a pastor anymore. That's why it's called ExPastor. I told her I'm never getting back into ministry. It's not something I'm worried about. I'm not worried about my job prospects in ministry ever. And also the title says ExPastor, you dumbass. So I'm not aligning myself as a pastor. Am I aligning myself as a Christian? Absolutely. But I'm more post-Christian than anything else. I'm post-religion. I'm anti-religion. I'm post-beyond that Sunday morning country club. I've graduated from that church. I've graduated from church. I've graduated from Sunday morning experience. If you haven't heard a Bad Christian podcast, I think they do some really cool stuff, but they say this a lot, that they graduated from that. They literally don't need it. It's like, I've moved on because it's like a shallow place to be. Church is not the end all. So she says that, and she's like, if you're like, thanks for being, worried about my future as a pastor, but clearly you don't like me anyway, so why would you want me to go anywhere else? She's kind of being a douche. Anyway, so she also says, and this one gets me, this is hilarious. She's like, it's more important how you leave than why you leave. And I told her, that's really easy for you to say there, what's your face? I was like, did you even hear my story? Like, it's important how I leave? I left silently from that church. Nobody knew. Then they came out with that statement that was totally false and totally made it sound like I left, right? And so she's here just up on my video because I'm making a stink, and there's lots of people watching this, and I'm sure that the church is getting emails and Facebook comments and everything else because of this whole thing. And she wanted to have her say, right? But what she said was, I was like, did you even hear my story? The reason I left was I was fired illegally, and they told me to keep it confidential. I didn't tell anybody. So what I told her is like, look, this video has started a national conversation about the crappy things that churches do to their pastors and volunteers. If anything, even if I take a hit in this, or if I get sued or whatever happens here, I have started a conversation. I've received over 150 emails from people all over the world in ministry who are like willing to tell their story, saying thank you for telling your story because now I feel like I'm not alone. If that's all that I achieved here. So how I left was silently, and now what I'm talking about is like, and I left a long time ago, or I got fired a long time ago, so I don't know what she's saying here. Whatever. I don't like her. This is awesome. She says, if it makes you feel better to think you were fired for the reasons you listed, then that must make you sleep better at night. As a person who regularly attends said church, I was relieved the day I read this in bulletin. I was relieved the day I read this in the bulletin. Okay, here's this person, okay? She comes into church. Oh, thank you for the update. Opens the update, reads that I quit or whatever, and is like, awesome. Imagine being excited about a pastor getting fired from a church who has a family that goes there and people who like me and like the things that I bring on Sunday. Imagine being happy about someone's demise. And you're a Christian or claim to be. Imagine that. We're reaching levels of chachi that shouldn't even exist. And I also told her, I said, look, I get it if I was someone who sinned, if I had a moral failing, if I did something wrong, or I was selling drugs out of my basement, or I was beating up homeless people. I get it. If I was doing something wrong worth being fired for, then of course I would be like, yeah, that guy deserves to go. But I was literally fired because I took parental leave. The end. Then she goes on to say, I was ready to again email my concerns about your leadership, lack of, to the executive pastors, as I know of many others who had. You weren't an effective worship leader, as you were showboating instead of caring if people were engaged in worship. You could walk through the crowded atrium and not speak to anyone because you're always on your cell. The list could go on. This lady is straight up lying. Okay? If I ever got caught on my cell walking through the atrium after a service, what people are around me, I would be fired for that. Okay? I would at least be called out and be in trouble for that. What she's talking about is in between services, and by the way, there were 3. So I would wake up at 5:30 on Sunday morning, practice my vocals on the way to church, okay? 5:30 in the morning, try singing at 5:30 in the morning, okay? I was then get there, rehearse for the first service, do a full-on service, then we would sit up in the green room, right, and hang out, and then we would come down for a service, do another service, and then in between those 2 services, I would help my kids get into Sunday school, so my wife would show up or whatever. And often we would bring our kids with us. 6 o'clock in the morning to the church, okay? They would come with us. 4 kids, waking them up on Sunday morning. They absolutely love not going to church anymore, by the way. Not the younger ones, the older ones do. They did not like that part, but that's what we did as a family. So imagine that. 3 services, and I'm full blast just giving her. Like, I take this seriously. I'm leading worship. I'm energetic. I'm singing. It's very, very tiring. Not only that, there's pressure on you. There's pressure to be perfect with the excellence. And there's pressure for timelines and everything else. And so by the time the services are done, I literally go home and I have the best nap because I'm so physically, mentally exhausted that any pastor will tell you that. Sunday morning after church is the best nap you've ever had because you're literally exhausted. So what she's talking about is in between services while the lead pastor would be speaking, and I've already heard his message, I'd go hang out in the atrium when nobody was there, get on my phone and relax and reset my brain. That's what she's talking about. And she says I was not effective. Well, the numbers beg to differ there, sweetheart. Because when I was there, for the time I was there, the church grew by something like 700 people. There are churches in the world and in my region alone that have never had 700 people in them. Now, I'm not saying that is all me, and I will always say that it's the team. But we were doing something right. So she's just, what I think she's trying to say here is, I didn't like your style. And so I was doing everything in my power, and a couple of us were doing everything in our power to email the pastor behind your back and to complain about you and blah, 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 and leave as many bad notes as we can. This is the type of toxic congregant that writes a note about how terrible everything is and how she hates you, and I don't like your skinny jeans, and I don't like your performance, and I don't like this, and your songs are all wrong, and blah, blah, blah. Then they don't sign their name on it, and then they put it in the offering plate, or they slip it under your door. Hear me, people, okay? Listen, got these on? Boop, turn it up. If you are one of these people who write pastors or leaders of churches anonymous letters, you. Okay? You can go suck an egg, all right? People like you are the worst type of Christian on earth. You're the ones who silently judge people, and then you try to do it secretly by leaving notes. What is an anonymous note going to achieve? You think I'm going to open an anonymous note and be like, this person hates me. I should leave this job. This person I've never met who will refuse to sign their name on this thing and everything else. What do you think you're going to achieve with that? Think about that for a second. You are a douchebag. That is all you know what pastors like us do? We take that note. We all share it around with all the other pastors. We laugh at you. We laugh. Sometimes we frame it. We look at it. We're like, look how stupid this person is. We throw it in the garbage. We burn it. And then we secretly in our mind say, that person is a sad, sad individual. And you are a sad individual. I also asked her if she was concerned about my personal soul health because clearly she knows my heart. Here's the thing about modern church that sucks for pastors like me who go to modern churches. There's always going to be these old school mentality of the old way of doing church with hymns and all this stuff, and they miss that stuff. And so what they do is they just come and they cross their arms and they're so angry about it. This is the I can't wait to the message. I'm going to come late. It's too loud. They're like the bah humbug churchgoer. If you're that person, find another church, dummy. Okay? It's not your church. It's not for you. Cool? All right, we good with that? You're dumb. So these are the type of people, and they stick around, and because some people just love to complain. They just love being people who complain. They're not happy unless they're angry, and it's such a sad place to be in your life. Maybe one day I walked by her and I didn't shake her hand or something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she's trying to get my attention with something. I don't know. This person I've never met her, and she still won't answer my questions. Anyway. Then she goes on to say, to all the ones seeing your ranting, ineffective videos and who are cheering you on thinking you've been wrong, who have never encountered you in person, take it from someone who was in the congregation week after week, month after month. The only wrongdoing are these videos. Fair. Not everybody likes me. That's true. But who you guys see on this camera is who I was there too. And you can ask anybody who knows me. I am who I am all the time. And clearly, people liked what I was doing. It's going to be contentious because as you bring a new pastor in who is modernizing things and changing the way you used to like it, you're going to be upset about that. For sure. I'll give you that. I'm not saying that I am everybody's flavor. But clearly this woman was like secretly hating me and never met me, never reached out to me, never talked to me ever once. Just hated me and never knew me. That is some cold-heartedness. That's some like black tar inside your heart that you need to check yourself. You need to get that stuff out because it's only going to make you an angry person for the rest of your life. And if you're married, your husband is probably a very, very lonely person. I told her ineffective, eh? I said, well, you took the time to watch this video and write a scathing review with your enlightened outlook. But I asked her this, and she never answered. I said, are you saying here that maybe I was wrong in some areas, maybe I wasn't as effective as you thought I should be, but are you saying that the lead pastor and executive pastor and the elders of that church should shoulder no blame whatsoever in this at all? Is it all me? Basically, she's saying it was all me. All me. Toxic, right? Toxic congregant. Then she goes on to say, I typically don't speak so harshly about someone, but it seems to be your style. Oh, okay. Eye for an eye, I guess, right? That's in the Bible. And I said, yeah, you totally don't sound like the type of person that speaks harshly to people. All right, anyway, she's okay. I said, look, and if you guys don't know this, and a lot of you don't know that, if you have a problem with someone, biblically, what you're supposed to do is reach out to them, set up a meeting with them, and tell them your issues, especially a pastor. It's something we all have to adhere to. So you reach out to them, you see, even if it's with another pastor, you can meet with me and another pastor and say, look, I don't like your style of music. I don't like your person. I think that you don't care about worship. I think that you're on your phone too much. You can do that. And if I heard that from someone face to face, I'd probably rethink. I'd be like, oh, well, let me take a look at that, my behavior, and let's do that. But what she did was she just went around my back and basically gossiped to her friends, and they had little email parties to the pastors. And what she's failing to realize is that if she says she's a Christian and she refuses to do what the Bible says, she's an effing hypocrite, which the church is full of, by the way. I'm not expecting people to be perfect, but let's call a spade here. She's a hypocrite. Then she says, the way you are handling/mishandling this clearly proves the leadership made the right decision in letting you go. Except the fact that you were not right for this role, and many people spoke up about it. Many people, probably 3 or 4 or 5 people out of 2,400. There's a little clique of people that didn't like me, and that's fine. I get it. I know I'm not for everybody. Like, I get it. Like, I know that. But here's my take on this, and this is what the elders and the executive pastor said. Remember that meeting I told that I kind of cut it out, but my wife was friends with this elder who lied to her about this whole thing, and she went into the church one Sunday and was talking to the executive pastor and saying, I guess she was feeling bad about this whole thing. He's like, look around, nobody's talking about it. And then they all had a meeting, and then she told my wife that they all had a meeting together in elders, and they said, whew, thank God we fired him because we were right. Look, see what happened? Look what he did. He did a podcast. He talked about it. We were right. Imagine me being angry about being fired illegally, okay? That's the dumbest thing the leadership could say. Basically, they're saying, we wronged this guy, we did something illegal, and we kind of like hurt his family, and now look, he's angry at us. We were right. How dumb is that logic, everybody? Can we please just all agree that that's the stupidest logic you could have? When you hurt somebody, and then they lash out, or you do something illegal, and then they do something in retribution, then you're like, good thing we did that. I don't know how you can square that circle. That is to me, and she's literally repeating what the leadership said. And I found out something a little bit gossipy. I had friends over the other day. I hadn't seen them in a long time. They have friends, they have family that goes to this church, and that family asked about me. And now I'm hearing that the leadership is telling them, lying to them about, they said I lied about my education. And so there's other things I'm starting to come out to light now. They're telling people that I lied about on my resume about my education, and I absolutely didn't. And so now I'm starting to be like, okay, they're telling people mistruths now. And because if that was the truth, right, why didn't they fire me for that reason? If you lie in your resume, that's a lie. You could fire me for that reason. Why fire me for a missed map goal or for your perceived unfitness, right? Hey, person, I'm glad we've never met in real life, but I'm sure you smell like mothballs. I'm sure you gave me side glances in the hall when you walked by me and were like, this guy's an asshole and I hate him. I can't wait to write an email to the pastor. And so this is what I want to talk about in this long video. Sorry. Toxic congregants. This is just one of many. Like, let's go. I went to a church about 2,200 on a Sunday, right? 2,400, whatever. We'd force people to fill out a survey, and they would leave comments, and these were all anonymous. So people just had a field day with their anonymous comments. Okay, it was awesome. Lots of comments about how awesome it is. Lots of comments about how terrible it is. But not just to me, to the lead pastor, to the executive pastor. They're all like, please stop letting him speak on Sunday. It's so funny. But yeah, I got some heat thrown at me and some hate. And I'm just like, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm so glad I'm not in church anymore because, oh my gosh, there are literally people who call themselves Christians who will leave anonymous hate comments to you. Think about that for a second. If you're one of those people who've done that, like, just check, like, oh my gosh, you are doing it wrong. And maybe this is a video on how to like not be that. If you go to church, and I hope you do, and if you still go or you're thinking about not going, just go. Because maybe you can affect change and be the person that's always like positive. You don't, look, not everybody does it right all the time. And if you have a concern, there's a way you can do it. You can go to them and say, I have this concern. And I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I just wanted to let you know about my concern just in case you're missing it. There's nothing wrong with that. And most pastors are going to be humble enough to say, you know, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like, it rarely happens. So when it does, you're like, oh, this must be serious to them. And I'm going to take a serious look at it. For sure, it will happen. That's what churches are there for. Like, leadership is there. But most people just want to be anonymous in their hate and their complaints. It's just mind-blowing how much this happens. And if you're out there in ministry, you know what I'm talking about. And this is the bane of your existence. Like, you pour your life into this. You move your family to a new city. You literally spend so much time there and you just basically give them your whole life and you neglect everything else in your life. All to get hate on Sunday because you didn't play enough hymns, right? Or you're too loud, or you're too flashy, or you dance too much, or you sing too loud. It's just crazy to me that toxic congregants exist. And I think if I ever had a church, and I'm never going to, but if I ever did, and I had a toxic congregant and I found out who they were, I'd be so fast to be like, get the F out of here. This is not where you belong. Go to the toxic church down the street. We don't do toxic here. We only do supportive. If you're not supporting your pastor, like, unless they're actually doing something wrong and sinning, okay? There's a difference between doing something wrong and just not liking them because you don't like them, okay? There's a big difference. So just wanted to kind of say that because this is like one of many. This is not a person, like, she's not alone. And so many pastors out there have to deal with this day after day, and it's soul crushing. Like, you get lots of tons and great, I don't remember any of the good comments I got. Like, I remember a couple, you know, and you get lots of them, but you definitely remember the negative ones because it's like 2 or 3, 4 out of the year, and they start eating at you. You start thinking, am I really this bad? And so these do have an impact on pastors, but some people can just put it aside and just like, oh, I laugh it off, and we laugh it and throw it in the garbage, and we do that, but it does stick with us. It may not hurt me, because I'm like, I know what I'm doing is right because I can see the numbers and the analytics are growing and we're doing what we want, and people come to me this Sunday and say, I can't wait till next Sunday. I can't wait till that was an amazing song, that service, that way you did that. I get so much of that, and it feels good. And, you know, it feels good to be thanked, and it feels good to be appreciated, and you do get a lot of appreciation as a pastor, and a lot of pastors get more than others. But here's the thing. But the only way you can complain is to write anonymous letters or to go over the head of the person that you're complaining about, you're doing it wrong. And so don't be a toxic congregant. Don't be a douchebag. Do the right thing. Okay? Just don't smell like mothballs like this person. Something tells me she probably wears Crocs, you know? So anyway, guys, this has been a mashup of videos, but I just want to talk about being a toxic congregant. One of those big things that kind of hit me. I didn't really talk about that because that's a big issue in ministry. I'm going on vacation with my family, so you're going to see me doing vlogs from the lake and all that stuff, and we're going to have some fun. We're renting an RV. I'm very excited. So if you don't hear from me a lot this week, just know that I love you. And get on Discord with me this week. I want to play I want to play Cards Against Humanity with you people so badly. So head over to patreon.com/thedadchallenge. Guys, if you could also, please go watch the disaster detailing video that we uploaded. There's a couple new ones. The Jeep is a funny one. I can't wait to show you all that stuff. Please, please, please go watch it. I know I'm begging and I sound like a douche, but please, just do it, please. Pretty sure Detail Geek told you to do that. So like and subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications or not, because apparently YouTube is bad at that. No one's getting notifications. Okay, but we are going to have an email list set up soon where you can sign up, and then we're going to send an email out when a video hits so you guys can get the list. Also, order a t-shirt below. We got Not My Jam, we got I Love Dad Bods, we got Chachi, and we got the Dad Challenge podcast like design shirts. We got Chachi tights. They look real good. I'm going to buy a pair, and I'm going to do a parody of a cleaning video like Micah did. I'm gonna wear a pair of those when she's pregnant. She'll do cleaning. I'm gonna do one of those. It's gonna be funny. I've got a couple of parody videos coming out soon that I'm working on. I think you guys are gonna like them. I'm very excited about the future of what's happening, what we get to talk about. If you guys have suggestions of things I should talk about, that's not really tea or gossip. Like, I get it. People will leave stuff. But, like, what's your take? What, from a parenting, Jeff and I are wanting from a parenting podcast what you want us to talk about. I think one of the things we want to talk about is pressure on kids in sports and the pressure that parents put on their kids in, like, social media and all this stuff stemming from the Danielle Cohn case and, like, just going from there. And we're going to really talk, we're going to dig deep into that and finding out what kind of pressure is healthy for your kids. Because would you have elite athletes this day and age without that kind of pressure that these parents put on their kids? I don't think you would. So there's a lot to talk about in the future. We are going to go hard. We're going to have some fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to be friends. And I'm really excited about that. So I'll see you guys in the next fireside. We're going to have a couple this week. And Mark and I are coming on this week to do something cool too. We're going to be very excited about what's happening for the future. And again, thank you so much if you watch these videos. Like, it's weird that you want to hear me speak, but I'm happy you do. And I'm going to read books to you too on the Discord server. Can't do it on YouTube, I'll get shut down. But I'm going to read you my favorite book of all time. It's called The Power of One by Bryce Courtney. So you guys are my therapy.